I would like to come to the top, and I go, let me guess, no one else knows either. No, are you kidding?
Aljo,
Our other riders are like...
you've had a few, obviously,
Fighter.
milestone victories in your career, but I've got to imagine that this one in New Jersey feels as sweet as any of the rest of them.
This one in New Jersey is definitely the sweetest for multiple reasons. My first main event, taking on a legend, someone so accomplished like Henry Cejudo is not an easy task, man. Like, yeah, we both do YouTube channels and we analyze and break down fights, but dude, the guy is freaking smart. I don't think a lot of people can even appreciate what was going on in the middle of that octagon. Both of us making adjustments to each other's adjustments. It was a high-level physical chess match, and thankfully, I think I came out just a little bit better, and maybe that means my YouTube channel is a little bit better.
Were you said you think it came out a little bit better. Were you confident when it was going to the judges, when it got announced to split? Were you a bit nervous? What was the emotions?
I mean, I was confident I won. I was like, I definitely feel like I won that 3-2. But at the same time, I was like, you just never know, man. Like, people give ring generalship to the guy who's just walking forward and making a mean face. And it's like the other guy's circling around you, dancing around you, making you look silly, you're missing, and they give it to the other guy because he came forward. I'm like, that doesn't score. Scoring fights is literally doing damage. If I'm dancing around you, I'm using my footwork, and you can't touch me, that's me controlling the octagon. If you are cutting me off as you're pressuring me, and I'm on the backside of the cage, and you're landing shots, you're controlling the octagon, you're controlling the action. But that's not what happened tonight, so close fight. But I definitely thought I won and edged it out. In my personal opinion, I know there's going to be some critics out there saying, oh, once again, he has a controversial win. He didn't really win that. Man, SMD, bro. Get used to this face, because it's not going anywhere, guys. It's not.
You're obviously a fan of this. I'm curious, got into some wrestling exchanges, took us back a couple of times, but what was it like to tangle in the wrestling department with a gold medalist?
I think I'm an Olympic gold medalist now. I think, what was that, 3 takedowns, I think? At least 2.
You got 4.
4?
You got 3.
I lost count. But no, seriously, though, strong guy. I knew I was going to do better in the clinch with the body lock. He did a great job utilizing the inside leg trip. Even though I kind of knew it was coming, but there were certain positions I was like, I want him to tie up with me there because I feel like I could bang him to the body a couple of times with some knees. And I know Mighty Mouse hurt him there, and I felt like I can expose that situation. So I felt like if he didn't get the trip, he might be a little bit lost in those positions and probably try to bail. I think he might have overcommitted with the wrestling and gave me more opportunities to take him down than he probably would have liked. But that's what I'm saying. It's such a high-level chess match. It's game of inches, split-second decisions, and I came out on top of that.
I mean, just personally curious, do you think he was the highest skilled guy you fought, just from terms of spending time in the cage? Was his adjustments, you're like, wow, this guy is really elite?
100%. I mean, Piotr Jan, high-level striker. TJ Dillashaw, high-level striker as well. Even though he came in slightly compromised, I fought with a torn labrum as well. So, I'm not giving TJ an excuse to get out of that. But Henry came prepared, and that's what I liked about this matchup. There was no excuses. No one's going to come in here and as soon as the fight's over, I banged up my toe and I couldn't move the right way. And shut up, man. Nobody wants to hear that. We all have opinions. We all have excuses, and they all stink. Nobody wants to hear that, So, like I said, highly skilled guy. I came out on top. Most wins in the bantamweight division. I don't even like tooting my own horn, but the records speak for themselves. I've been saying this for a long time. People can keep doubting me, but I've only had 3 opponents that were not ranked in my entire career that I fought. And I think it was in my win streak that I fought. Yeah, 3 of them that weren't ranked. So I think it's about time people start putting some respect on my name.
Next up, Sean O'Malley. You had your in-cage face-off. Curious if you were able to take anything out of that. And they look like they want, or Dana was saying he would like to see it maybe August in Boston, if that's something that would work for you. Thoughts on Sean O'Malley?
My thoughts on Sean O'Malley is that motherfucker is frail. Frail. You think if I could take down a short, stocky guy like Henry, who's actually a gold medalist and has good takedown defense, what am I going to do to Sean O'Malley? Like, let's be honest here, guys. Like, yeah, he's been promised the title shot. He opted not to take the title shot and gave Henry a chance to come back and chase history. I beat Henry. Now there's no more running. You know, you either want to swim with the big boys or you don't. If not, get the fuck out of the pool or go up a weight class or some shit. Don't keep sitting around here talking and barking and not saddling up and taking the opportunities that are given. This is what the sport's all about. You take the opportunities that are given to you. I guarantee you, we step in there, I think I fold that man in half in one round. It's just going to... Same thing I did to Sandhagen. Go out there, pressure forward. He's going to use his footwork. I'm going to cut off the cage like I was just talking about. Eventually, he's going to be on his back foot, let him throw a stupid kick that I'm going to catch. I'm going to body lock him. I'm going to fold him in half like a lawn chair, and that's going to be the fight. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Don't even need to see it now. You just gave us the perfect breakdown right here in front of you, Aljo. Just that chaos in there, though, like a lot of people, think something with him and Merab. Did it feel like it was close to getting out of control for a moment in the cage there afterwards?
I don't know. I was in a different world. I was ready to jump on his back if I needed to. And I think I might have tapped him and turned him around, or I don't even know what I did. But I was just like, yo, don't fuck with my boy. That's pretty much it.
Do you think he knows that you're the tougher fight for him? He tweeted out earlier today before the event, like, please, Henry, win this fight. Yeah,
100%. It's like you want to fight the guy who's 5'4" and you're 5'11". You're a better striker. You're longer. You're rangier. It just makes more sense for him to fight Henry, gives him the best opportunity to become a UFC champion. Styles make fights, physicality makes fights, and that's what people have to do. You have to analyze the situation and break it down, and I think sometimes people just forget about all those things, and they just look at, oh, he's so good, the Flash, his hair is colorful, and he smokes weed. Dude, I smoke weed. Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Definitely the tougher fight. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I can strike. My striking is very awkward, I will say. Even with Henry, I thought I was going to piece him up with a couple of shots from the outside, and it didn't quite go that way. In my head, it looked a lot better as like reality versus what it looks like. So I know there's got to be some things I got to tighten up with that, especially going in there with a guy like Amali, because he's had almost a year to make adjustments. But I'll be ready, and I'm not priding myself to be a striker. I am a grappler foremost. So if you have a problem with that, like Khabib says, his father's plan, I'm coming out there with the purpose is to take you down and drown you, and that's it.
Is it exciting to prepare for a fight where your opponent is more or less one-dimensional compared to these recent guys that you've been fighting who, have strong wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking?
Is it more exciting?
Yeah, and is it going to be maybe an easier camp and more straightforward approach for you of what you need to do?
And none of these camps are easy, man. I got some hammers that I train with. And it's a fight's a fight. Like, he could easily land a 1-2 that stings me right on the chin and put me down. And that's just what it is. It's a fist fight. Like, anything can happen in there. And I understand that. The last time I underestimated somebody, I was staring at the lights. And I don't even remember staring at the lights. I woke up in a hospital. I came to my senses in a hospital against Marlon Moraes. So I've been humbled by this sport. And I think O'Malley needs to be humbled again. I guess him breaking his foot against Cheeto, that wasn't enough for him, so I got to do it again to him.
And just last thing from me, Henry was just in here before you. He feels maybe he won the fight, but he's saying he need to watch it back, and he seems very internally conflicted about what he's going to do in the future. What would be your advice, Jim? Do you think he should stick around and be part of this stacked division and work towards a rematch?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the more big names, the more exciting it is for this division. And I think more people are going to want to gun for him to add his name to their resume. Henry's no easy out for anybody. I know he doesn't like cutting the weight down to 125. He was a thick boy in there. I think it'd be fun to have him around for sure. And, I plan on fighting O'Malley and then going up and chasing Volkanovski. So I'm taking Henry's blueprint, and I just need to get one more. And then I think that's it for 135.
Hey, champ, on that note, congratulations on the victory. So it's a guarantee that you only have one more fight at the 135-pound weight division before you go up to 145?
It just depends on how the fight goes. If I lose, knock on wood, then, I stick around. Merab gets his shot at 135 for the belt, and I help him, and it is what it is. Fighting at 135, I don't want to say I'm the bigger guy, but I make the weight, but the weight cut is not easy, and it's not as fun going through the training camps when you have to make sure you're predominantly cutting weight, when you could be skill building. And I'm not saying that's how much weight I cut. It's just I'm very lean, and I've gotten older. It makes it harder. 145 could be a breath of fresh life for me, and it can make it easier for me to fight more frequently. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I could bulk up a little bit. Maybe I'm not fading in that 5th round as much as I'm doing now. I don't even think I really faded in the 5th round tonight. I think it was just Henry's energy and his demeanor to want to win that round really shine through. And I was kind of kicking myself about that because I wanted to dominate the 5th round and show my dominance. And I was really pissed about that. So that's one of the that's probably why I was a little more reluctant to celebrate, because I want to put a stamp on it, something kind of like a highlight or a cool ending to the fight, even like a Max Holloway thing, pointing to the ground like, let's fucking go. Like, I wanted that, but then he got the takedown, kept me against the cage. I was like, this is not the way I wanted the end of the 5th round to go. But it is what it is.
A positive thing he said about you was you are the greatest bantamweight of all time. Asked him that. So when you hear that from Henry Cejudo, how does that make you feel?
I appreciate it. I let the fans decide that, though. And it is what it is. I can't really... That's not for me to call. That's why I love sports, because everyone has a different opinion on who's the greatest and why they're the greatest, and that's up for interpretation. So I let the fans decide on that. And for me, I know I'm up there. I know I'm in that conversation, and at the end of the day, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't need that for approval to feel self-worth. I'm happy. I accomplished a lot in this sport. I accomplished a lot in this division. I'm making history. My name's going to be in the history books for years to come, decades to come. And good luck to anybody out there who's going to try to chase that resume, because it's going to be very tough to beat.
And lastly, you've been dealing with nagging injuries quite some time now. You went down to Columbia Bioaccelerator. You got the stem cells. How are you feeling overall with this camp? And you think you're going to have to need any surgeries or anything like that before the next fight?
I mean, right now I'm feeling good. I think I could take a few weeks off and let the stem cells continue to do their thing, build on the injuries with the rehab stuff that I'm doing over at the UFC PI. Aljamain Sterling Day is May 23rd, so I get to celebrate that back in Long Island, Nassau County. So I'm excited about that. I get to have some downtime with my friends, actually create some memories outside of fighting. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Just signed a new partnership with Nerd Focus. So there's a lot of good things. Nootropic energy drink. So I'm just looking towards the future, keep my body healthy, do as best as I can. To stay consistent. I would like to fight in September, then fight again in December. People think I just want to sit on the sidelines. I only get paid when I fight. So, guys, I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I want to be active. But when I get injured through these training camps, it's hard, So I'm trying to do the best that I can. All of us like to make money. All of us want to be active. And we know the fans love it. So that's what we're trying to do. We try to put it on the line for them time in and time out.
Congrats.
Congratulations on a huge win. You packed this house. You broke records. You and Henry put on a masterpiece. Like, you guys were Van Gogh and Rembrandt out there. You guys painted a masterpiece on that canvas. Is this more than just a title defense for you? This is validation. You are everything that you say you are?
I felt validated well before this, but I know for the fans, some of the fans out there, they might feel like this gives me a little bit more validity, but everyone's going to always have an opinion. They're going to have something to criticize and say. And at the end of the day, that's not for me to judge. It is what it is. What can I do? I can't force someone to believe what I believe. If it's either you agree or you don't agree. I'm out here trying to chase something great. I'm out here really trying to do something with my life. And I'm not saying other people aren't. But this ain't an easy sport, man. There's a lot of people who don't stick around. They don't last very long, barely even make it to their second UFC contract. I've been here since 2014, and that says a lot. That says a lot about my resilience, says a lot about perseverance, just not quitting, giving up on yourself when the time gets tough. I lost 2 fights in a row, split decision to 2 guys ranked in the top 10, and my job was on the line. That after my very first contract going into my second one, after talking a whole lot of shit about wanting to fight, get paid, and then I lose 2 fights in a row. So that's how quickly things could change. I could be here one day, down here the next. So I don't take it for granted whatsoever. And I think that's what people should try to realize about life. Just don't take nothing for granted, man. Life is short. Go out there, chase the things that you want to do, and go get it, man. Don't let no one dictate or tell you what you can and cannot do, because if you do that your entire life, you'll never get nowhere. And if I listened to everyone else who said I was done, I had no chin and whatnot, I'll just be back home just being a gym teacher and never knowing what I could have truly accomplished because I didn't chase my dream and my goals. Here I am today. 3 defenses in a row. Like, life is fucking good. Like, I had no idea I'd be here. Bought my mom a house, bought her a car. Like, this is icing on the cake for me. Like, thank you to the UFC staff for providing this opportunity for me to ever set out to do something like this. And gratitude is the biggest way of just showing signs of respect for me. And yeah, I might talk a little shit to my opponents, but at the end of the day, I know we're all chasing the same dreams. And like I said before, sometimes in this sport, you got to crush another man's dreams to accomplish your own.
You showcase so much creativity and intelligence in there, and the strategy, it seemed like, because some of it was just way over my head, some of the technique that you were showcasing, but what's the strategy to make sure that he didn't get that shot off? Because people stay out of the pocket, and that's what Henry uses because people are afraid of the takedown. So, you know, he always keeps people at bay because they're afraid of the takedown. He's able to get shots off. What's the strategy from the great Regalongo and the great Matt Serra and yourself to keep that pressure on, and how soon were you able to make adjustments, and did you have a plan B and plan C in case that didn't work?
Yeah, I always have a plan B and plan C. You got to be able to adjust, and I think coming into this fight, collectively, we all knew, like, if I get the fight to the ground, he's fucked. But, you know, for the most part, I didn't really get to do too much on the ground because of the timing of when I got the takedowns. So it was just more so trying to be creative on the feet, not taking too much damage and inflicting as much as I can to try to outpoint where I can outpoint. And if I could get the takedown, try to do as much damage as I can, and in the clinch, beat him up in the clinch, being the bigger, heavier guy, longer guy. I know he had some trouble with Mighty Mouse in the clinch position, and I felt my range and my length, being able to just lift my knees, attack the body, I'll be able to beat him up in those positions, and that's what we did tonight. So collectively, we all have like our ideas that we think about, which can be the keys to victory, and that's just kind of the way we go. Like at this stage of the game, if these fighters aren't taking notes, that's a sad thing. You have to be able to adjust in the middle of the fight. If you can't make adjustments, good luck, because it is hard, man. You get to the top, you don't get here by accident. You have to be one of those guys who can flip the switch, change it up, and literally split seconds and make reads.
Awesome. And one more question from me. Can we all agree after this week that Merab is a national treasure and needs to be protected at all costs? I think we all need a friend like Merab in life, just saying.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I said, this guy would take his shirt off for anybody, not even knowing any one of you guys, he would do that for you guys. That's just the type of dude he is. And there's not a lot of good people in the world like that today. I think sometimes people forget, like, even though, you know, we fight this kind of a rough, savage sport, but we're still human at the end of the day, and he's like a prime example of what it's like to be outside of the cage. Like, we're in here, we're trying to be vicious, we're trying to break records, we're trying to hurt each other. But outside of that, you know, he's a really good dude. We're really good people. At least I like to think that. And I think that's the way you kind of got to live your life. Like, I treat the janitor the same way I treat the president of the UFC. Like, there's no difference, you know, and I think that shows a lot of character. And when I see people judge people and treat people different ways because of their status in life, I don't like that. I can't get behind someone who's like that.
We'll take 2 more. Champ, over here to the far right over here. I wanted to ask about, did you get a chance to see Conor McGregor's messages after the fight? He was very complimentary. He said you won the fight 4-1, and he was not very complimentary of Henry's performance.
Conor's my guy. Proper 12, baby. Let's go. No, I didn't see the tweet yet, but I would like to talk to Conor about pursuing my own rum career with my own drink. I'm looking to still launch my own line. I got some stuff lined up, some designs and some things like that in the works. I do like to drink. I actually didn't drink this entire training camp, which is a first for me in a very long time. But, you know, life is about creating new adventures and things like that. Eventually, this door is going to close. I want to make sure I set myself up. So I do appreciate the words from Conor. He was very complimentary of Merab before his fight with Petr Yan when we met him in Vegas. And I like watching him fight. He's a pioneer of the sport. Like, if you can't respect that guy, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know some of the stuff, some of the antics could get a little crazy. But what he's done and accomplished, I think, is hard to ignore.
Final 2.
And Aljo right here. Congratulations. How was it having Coach Serra back in your corner tonight?
It was great. You know, it was cool, especially, like, we're back on the East Coast. We're in New Jersey where everyone fought coming up because it was illegal in New York for such a long time. So to have the whole band back together was cool to have. The energy was positive. Everyone was dialed in, alert. And that's what it's all about, everyone being on the same page. And, like, even the other guys that I've had in the past, like for me, I'm good with, like, it doesn't really matter who's in the corner, but it does matter, like, the camaraderie kind of thing, you know? So it was cool having that again, and having that original Long Island feel again. So that was nice to do. And on top of that, making history with the guys that I started with, you know? So definitely appreciative of that, and glad he took my offer to come back and jump in with me and chase a dream.
Aljo, over here. You mentioned not drinking in the lead up to this fight. How did your body feel and kind of respond to that? And do you think that's something you'll be repeating?
Nah. I like to drink, man. You know what it is? These training camps are so hard. After I have a crazy hard sparring session, if I feel like I'm in a certain threshold of my conditioning, that's like my release. You know, everyone has a release, has a vice, something that kind of lets them reset. And it's not like I get drunk or wasted doing training camp, but I'll have like 1 or 2 drinks, and that's it. And it makes me feel better. It makes me feel more happy going through the grind. Because if you're just serious all the time, and then you're not even guaranteed to win. You know, like I could have lost that fight and it'd be like, well, I didn't drink for no reason. You know what I mean? So it's about sacrifices and things like that. Yeah, I do sacrifice all the other stuff, but you know, you got to have a little bit of a balance. So it's not something that I'm going to say I'm going to go back to. This was more so because of the injury that I had. I wanted to give the stem cells the proper time, not destroy it with alcohol. And I can't say I felt a lot better. I really can't say that, but maybe there's something to it. I don't know. But for me, I'd rather be happy and train versus like thinking about it and be like, man, I wish, you know. So I'm not gonna go. I don't condone binge drinking, but I do condone just enjoying your life and having a balance. There's got to be a work-life balance.
And the other question I wanted to ask was about your teammate Matt Frivola, who got a big victory as well. What did you think of that?
Steamroller, big win, baby. Welcome to the top 15, baby. The steam has arrived. We got some killers coming up, man. There's a lot of young guns coming up. Frivola finally getting his breakthrough shine. 3 knockouts in a row in the first round. We got Nassim also. 3rd round TKO, a lot of 55ers. We got some hammers, man. I try to give these guys shine as much as I can because when I was coming up, I didn't have anybody doing that for me. So I try to highlight these guys as much as possible. They are super special talent. And if you guys like strikers, those are the guys to watch. Like, I ain't the striker, guys. I'm the grappler. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to drown you, backpack you. Those guys, they bang. So if you want to watch some high-level striking, those are the guys to keep your eyes on because they're fun to watch. You got to watch their sparring sessions. It's like, it's pay-per-view. It's literally pay-per-view sessions.
Thank you, Aljo.
Thank you guys, man. Appreciate you all. Be safe and get home safe and have a drink for me. Cinco de Mayo, baby. Let's go.